Good morning. It's April 9th, 2020, and the passage we're going to be considering today is out of Luke chapter 19. If you had caught any Palm Sunday televised sermon, undoubtedly somebody would have been in Luke chapter 19. But I'm not keying necessarily on the part of the Palm Sunday that most people key on. I'm keying on, as I have been, on peace. And those who may be out there having a difficult time, they're having turmoil, they're having peace. The Lord, as he rode into Jerusalem, also spoke about this peace. And I hope today, when we look into it for the next few minutes, you will not miss it as they missed it on that day. And so in Luke chapter 19, of course, we know that he rides into Jerusalem and they're crying out, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace on earth and glory in the highest." And the Pharisees, of course, they begin to cry out to the crowd. They tell the disciples from the crowd, they say to Jesus, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." In other words, make them stop saying this. They're talking about Jesus being the Messiah. They're quoting Psalm 118:26, which is, of course, a psalm about the Messiah. And in the end of that, by the way, that Psalm 118:26, it says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." And we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow being Good Friday. But as we look at this, then Jesus answers and he tells them, "I tell you that if these should keep silent, the stones would immediately cry out." And Jesus is referring to Habakkuk 2:11, where in Habakkuk 2:11 he says, "A woe to those who are covetous and who are speaking only the words that people want to hear so that they can make money." Does that sound familiar today? We have a lot of preachers out there that do the same thing. They'll speak only what people want to hear so that they keep getting a crowd, so that they can keep getting more money. Well, there he talks about the fact that the very stones of their houses are going to cry out in judgment against them. So Jesus is saying if these people were silent, then the stones that are around here would cry out in judgment against them for not saying something. And it's kind of interesting that he kind of likens the Pharisees here to people that are only there for gain, right? But then it's the next verse. This is the verse we're looking at. It says, "Now he drew near, he saw the city, and he wept over it." He, in one of those switchbacks, as he's coming down off from the Mount of Olives, he happens to turn, and there in full view, he sees the city of Jerusalem, and he begins to weep. Because here on a day that, his disciples are probably rejoicing. This is a day when they think this is going to be when he's going to be crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and he's going to be crowned, Messiah. He's going to come in, he's going to get rid of the government and all of those things. Instead, guess what? He weeps. On the very day that he should be rejoicing, in their minds, he weeps. And why does he? Verse 42 says, saying, "If you had only known, even you," speaking to Jerusalem, he looks at them and he weeps and he said, "If you had only known, even you, especially in this your day, the things that make for your peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes." He looks at Jerusalem and while he had a good crowd there, and while he had, the people there crying out to him, down there in front of him was, Passover week. And they were there, and as that town was preparing for the Passover, everyone was hustling and bustling and doing their own thing. They weren't even necessarily paying attention to the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, riding into Jerusalem. And you know what that did for them? Well, they were down there trying to seek peace during Passover week. Well, they were doing one of the most important things a Jew could do, and that, of course, is going to be observing Passover, where they could get peace for their sin. Guess what? They're missing the fact that this is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Once again, if you had only known, even you, especially in this your day, this is your day, Jerusalem. Your Messiah is riding in, and you're not even paying attention. He says, that which makes for your peace. But instead, they're hidden from your eyes. And I think many times about people, even Christians, they hustle and bustle. When this is over, I hope you go back to church. I hope you head back to where you are. But many times, even on a Sunday, people hustle and bustle to get to church, and they run in and out of maybe even their big mega churches and stuff, and grab themselves a latte in the foyer there. And they talk with their friends. They're doing all kinds of stuff, and then in the end, they really miss what they were really there for. They're so caught up in doing church that they really weren't the church. And they don't have peace when they leave. And people here today, maybe you're sequestered there at home and you're quarantining yourself and all those things. And you're trying to, in every way that you can, protect yourselves. But maybe the biggest protection you need, most of all, Jesus Christ. You're missing him today. Yeah. And when this is all over again, you'll go back to business as usual, unfortunately. And you'll say, whew, we missed that one. Boy, we got by. Remember, jokes will be made about what did you do during COVID-19. People will be, my son and I talked about this. There's so many people that are doing new things. It's almost like, man, I'm going to learn a new language while this is happening. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they're doing all these things just to busy, keep themselves busy, because you know what? They don't want to be alone with their thoughts and realize that maybe they really don't have true peace and joy in their hearts. Hopefully you won't miss it here. Hopefully you won't lose the meaning of this time when the Bible says, be still and know that I'm God. Hopefully, just like Jerusalem on that day, you won't be so busy that you'll miss God. And in missing God, you'll miss the peace that you really need. Thank you.